the companies. As you see, in international marketing, the price of goods can increase considerably because of many types of costs. Here you have the excess price, but also you need to consider the influence of exchange rate, the shipping cost, custom fees, distributor margin, okay? The margin for the local distributors, like wholesaler, reseller, you need to have a certain rate, a percentage of commissions for the distributor in foreign countries, inspection costs, and other type of costs. So you can see that the price of the Jeep here, when it is exported to Japan, increase a lot because of all the costs that are included in the final price. So price escalation is an issue in international marketing that companies, especially exporters, need to consider when they export their products. They need to consider and justify how their export there can be profitable. Here you also have different pricing strategy for maintaining the market or market share of the companies. Okay, you have a number of options for products, new products that you launch or introduce into the foreign markets. You have a number of pricing strategy for products in the product mix for companies, especially multinational companies that offer a large product mix. They have to consider this strategy option. And here you also have pricing strategy for maintaining the market share of the companies, mainly price discount and allowances, promotional pricing, predatory pricing, and price change. Here, about price discount allowances, you have similar types or similar tactics or strategy applies in international marketing. About the discount, you can have different types: quantitative discount, functional discount, seasonal discount, and allowances to the trade, to wholesaler and retailer when they support the companies in their distribution and communication efforts. So discount, quantitative discount is very easy to understand, and discount, if you see that the buyers pay the seller promptly by cash or different ways, but mainly about the time of payments. Okay, quantitative, you can offer price reduction to the buyers who buy large volumes. And functional discount applies mainly to the trade or to distributor. Okay, so this type of discount also called trade discount, that the manufacturer or the seller offer to channel members if they perform certain functions like selling, storing, and record keeping for the manufacturer. Seasonal discounts depends on the season. Okay, some kinds of products or services, the seller may give or offer a price reduction here to the buyers. So this is about discount pricing. You also have promotional pricing. Okay. For promotional pricing here, we see the temporary price promotions. Okay, setting price below list price or even below the cost of production to demand. So you have loss leader pricing, you have a special event pricing, cash rebate, low interest financing, longer payment terms, and some kind of warranty service contract. And another type, which is free maintenance provided to the customer, can be considered as a type of promotional pricing. So we see loss leader that you sell products below cost. Okay. Special event pricing, so attract customer during a certain season or periods. Cash rebates here given to the customer who buy within the specified time. Low interest financing or longer payment terms, free or low cost warranty and free maintenance. Here are all different types of promotional pricing. So even though you don't offer the product a customer price reduction, but somehow you lower the consumer total price because you give them some incentives, low interest when they buy your products, or you allow them to pay for the product for longer terms, a longer period, okay, in the installment, or also the warranties and other additional services that you provide to the customer can be considered as promotional pricing that somehow reduce the total price that the customer have to pay for the product. Some risks of promotional pricing. So companies may use too frequently, and it will influence the company's sales and profits. It can be copied easily by competitors, and it can create customers who are dupont, that who will wait for promotion and avoid buying the products at its regular price. It also erodes the brand value. If you position your brand as a high-end brand, a luxury brand, you cannot conduct frequently promotional pricing. It can create price war between companies in the marketplace. Another strategy, you have predatory pricing here, that pricing so low that competitors quit rather than compete, permitting the company's predator to raise prices in the long run. Some companies may be sued by applying some kind of predatory pricing. So here, for example, you have Uber sued for predatory pricing by taxi company in San Francisco because they consider that Uber set a very low price that forced them to close the business. Okay, or even for big multinational companies like Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, when they enter foreign countries like developing countries, frequently small beverage companies in the local markets will consider these firms as predators who can't price their products so low to force them quit the market. And here you also have price change. That companies have some kind of price cuts or price increases, okay, depending on a number of conditions. Companies may initiate price cuts if they have excess plant capacity, or they are dominant in the marketplace. And also companies who want to have to gain high or larger market share. When they cut price, they will see a very large increase in the demand of the customer. Price increase can be initiated in the following conditions: the rising cost. Another term for it, cost inflation. If you have the cost for production increase, firm may consider a price increase. Anticipates further inflation or government price control can also, here in this case, the company can also increase the price. Or the customer have high demand for the product, and price increase can be done in different ways. For example, companies may delay their price quotation, or they can have a escalator clause in the contract. From the buyer side, frequently the buyers will include this kind of clause in the contract, the commercial contracts between the buyer and the seller in foreign countries, that in the case different costs of production increase, they will agree on the new level of price, or calculate the price again. Unbundling the products. If previously you bundle the products and offer the bundle products to the customer at a reduced price, now you unbundle it. Okay, it's a kind of price increase too. And here you reduce discount for the customer, including consumer and trade, distributors, wholesale retailers. Is also a way to increase the price. Other price strategies in international marketing, you will see that company needs to set price across countries, and they need to make decisions of standardization and adaptation. Okay, standardization means that you will set the same price. Okay, by the headquarters of the company, irrespective of the final destination or the foreign countries where they operate. So here, frequently the importer will absorb freight and import duties. Okay? The exporter just sets the same price level for different countries, and the importer will cover or absorb all the kinds of costs related to. The main disadvantage, price standardization will fail to respond to different markets. Also, you have the adaptation or the differentiation of prices across nations. So here you have adaptation. Affiliate manager or distributor can establish the price in foreign countries. In this case, the company is sensitive to the market conditions, okay? But a risk, an issue of price adaptation is that it can create gray marketing, okay? Gray marketings or parallel imports, that you will see that in one country, the product is priced lower than other countries. So it may happen that distributor in the countries where the product is sold at a lower price will buy these products, and then they will try to sell the same product to customers in other countries. We will see the issue of gray marketing or parallel import later. And then you have here price invention, that you take into considerations of the competitors' actions and the global markets. you will use price to support the global strategy of the companies rather than maximizing the performance in a single country. So somehow here you also have a new price for new products, and you will consider different factors when you set the price for the product, mainly global customer and also competitors. So here you have two options for pricing across countries: standardization and adaptation. Okay, you will consider when you need to adopt price differentiation or adaptation, and when you need to adopt price standardization. Okay, price standardization will be appropriate when you see that competitors also international business, homogenization of competitive structure. Okay, so in different countries you see the same competitive structure, quite the size of the competitors, and the main competitors here are quite the same. You have the internet large retail organizations in the retailing industry. Okay, you have IKEA, for example, or some big franchising organization as retail organization. So they frequently can apply price standardization. Increased danger of cross-border arbitrage. Okay? And here you also have price differentiation. When you see clearly the differences in the average industry prices in different countries, different segment of the customer that explain or justify different prices levels here, and the methods and importance of special offers to the customer. The importance of all brands, different brands will have a different price, strength of local competitors, retailer powers, terms and conditions for trading here, and also consumer preferences and price interest and awareness that the consumer. Okay, and how price influence consumer sensitivity to price. All these factors, differences, explain why companies need to differ or to vary their price in different countries. So we have the steps to set up export pricing. So for companies, frequently they need to go through a number of steps, starting with determine export market potential. Okay, how you calculate the market potential here, as the group 9 mentioned earlier, you have the export potential map from ITC, okay, in which you can consider the export market potential for a specific product. You estimate the price range and target price. Okay, price range in the case you offer a number of products, or in the case you enter a number of markets. Calculate sales potential at a specific target price, and then you also factors, especially the tariff and non-tariff barriers. Select suitable pricing strategy in line with the company objectives. So we have a number of pricing strategy mentioned earlier for new product, for product in other stage of its product life cycle. Then you have to consider competitor response. Okay, you select pricing tactics and you set distributor and end user prices. Okay. And finally, monitor the performance and take necessary corrective action related to pricing. You have different factors that can affect international pricing decision. Okay. Here you have internal factors like firm level factors, including corporate marketing objective, competitive strategy, firm positioning, product market development, production location, available resources of the firm, inventory shipping costs to other countries, and market entry modes chosen by the companies. You also have product factors like the PLC, place in the product line, substitutes, most important product feature for the companies and for the customer, product positioning, and product cost structure. External factors can include environmental factors like government influences and constraints on price, the use of non-payment and leasing, inflation, currency fluctuation, business cycle stage. Market factors include customer perceptions, expectation, and ability to pay, customer need for product adaptation at the level of service they want, the nature of competitions, the competitors' objectives, strategy, strength, and weaknesses, market structure, growth, demand, elasticity, distribution, and also the issue of parallel imports. So I will move on to explain a little bit parallel imports here. So as I mentioned earlier, you have the products that are priced for one country, and then will be bought by trader in. Here you have an equal products for one country, for example, the USA, and bought by trader in USA, and then this trader will export the product to other countries where the product are higher priced. Okay. For example, in the UK, sell competing in one country with their raw product being imported from another country at a lower price. This is the explanation about parallel imports. Okay. The same product available at highly different prices in two open markets within the European Union, for example. Okay. So in this case, the companies, the manufacturer, will compete with their traders in different markets because the products are differently priced in these countries. You also have the dumping issue in international business, international marketing. So you see the sale of an imported product at a price lower than that normally charged in a domestic market or country of origin. In the USA, for example, you see that dumping occurs when imports sold are priced at either levels that represent less than the cost of production plus an 8% profit margin, or at levels below those prevailing that provides for payment to companies which are harmed by dumping. And here, to prove that dumping, there's some kinds of dumping, both price discrimination and injury must be shown or justified. You have a number of products from Vietnam have dumping issue in foreign markets like the US or Europe. Okay, you have administered pricing. So administered pricing, an attempt to establish prices for an entire market. So such prices may be arranged to the cooperation of competitors, or to national, state, or local governments, or by international agreement. So somehow, administered pricing will be used by an international organization representing companies in the same industry, or by governments. Here we need to differentiate administered pricing with price fixing. Price fixing is not acceptable when big companies agree with each other secretly to fix the price for their products in the marketplace. Okay? So this is about a price fixing. But for administered pricing here, okay, you have the legality of it differ from countries to countries. In the US, basically the government allows companies to use administered pricing, but in other countries it may be not allowed. Different terms for administered pricing, pricing agreement or arrangement, or combines conspiracy, association, or price leadership, customary pricing, or informal inter-firm agreements. Here you have the cartel as one form of administered pricing, which exists when various companies producing similar products for the type of goods and service they produce. Cartel may use formal agreements to set prices, establish levels of production and sale for the participating companies, and also they will determine the market territories for different members. Here you have an example of a cartel organization, which is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. You have the price fixing as an unacceptable or illegal practice in pricing. So here, representative of two or more set similar prices for their products. This kind of practice is considered illegal because it is anti-competitive. You cannot ensure the fair competition in the marketplace when companies apply price fixing. You have horizontal price fixing and vertical price fixing. Horizontal in the case competitors within an industry make and market the same product conspire to keep prices. P&G, Unilever, and Henkel had conspired to set prices for their laundry detergent. In the same industry here, we have horizontal price fixing. We also have vertical price fixing when manufacturer conspires with wholesaler retailer to ensure certain retail prices are maintained. For example, you have Nintendo has colluded with European distributor to fix prices for its video game consoles. So vertical price fixing between manufacturer and the trade or wholesaler retailers. You have another issue in international marketing, which is transfer pricing. So when companies use selective prices for internal transaction, okay, between the subsidiaries of the companies, for example, or even between headquarters and the subsidiary, the basis of transfer may be at cost, arm's length, or cost plus. Okay. These are some requirements from or some company how to register or record the price in the transactions, internal transaction between subsidiaries of the multinational companies. Here, the strategy used for transfer pricing. Companies want to maintain barriers to new entrants to a specific industry. They want to avoid domestic tax liability, or avoid foreign tax, or want to manage levels of market involvement. The central control the companies of transfer pricing is essential. Here you have a next example of why for some governments they consider transfer pricing as a problem, an issue, as companies want to avoid or to they have to pay. Here you have an example of tax effect of low versus high transfer price on net income of a company. You see that if the manufacturing affiliate or division and the distribution or selling affiliate subsidiary of the companies have some kind of transaction between them, you will see the cost or the price of the goods sold from the manufacturing affiliate to the selling affiliate in the same multinational companies here will be recorded differently in these two cases. Okay? In the first case, low markup policy, you see that the selling affiliate will pay the transfer price, which will be set at $1,400. In the high markup policy case, it will pay for $1,700. And when you calculate the net income in these two cases, okay, you exclude other costs like the tax, income tax, operating expense, so on. So you have in these two cases the net income will be different, okay, for the distributions, the manufacturing and distribution affiliates, as well as the companies in total. You will see that for the multinational companies, MNC, at the end, okay, they will have the net income in the case of high markup policy price, which is higher than their income in the case of low transfer price. Okay, so this is for an example of how transfer pricing is considered by countries as one way of MNC to avoid the tax. And here you have another issue or another pricing reality in international marketing, which is counter trade. Okay? Counter trade occurs when payment is made in some form other than money. Can be applied in the case when money is scarce and it's difficult to obtain bank financing for export. You have different options, different types of counter trades: barter, counter purchase or parallel trading, or offset, compensation trading or buyback, and switch trading. So you to read, to see in detail the basic ideas of counter trades is that from the buyer, from the seller, okay, the seller will provide the goods or services or technology to the buyers in the and will commit to buy back the outputs of production from the buyers in developing countries. So the main idea is that you have different options here, and these options may vary. The degrees and the types of payment vary, but they still reflect the same idea. When you think of crossing international borders, things include, in addition to pricing and strategy, like obtaining export license if it is required, obtaining currency permit, packing goods for export, transporting, preparing different documents like bill of ladings, completing necessary custom papers, preparing custom consular invoices, arranging for ocean freight, and also obtaining insurance for the goods and a certificate of the policy. So different question here to ask. Does the price reflect the product quality? Is the price competitive given local market condition? Should the firm pursue market penetration, market size of discount, trade cash quantity, and allowance advertising or trade-off? Should the firm offer its international customer? And should the price differ with market segment? What pricing options are available if the firm costs increase or decrease? Is demand in the international market elastic or inelastic? Are the firm prices likely to be viewed by the host country government as reasonable or exploitative? Okay. And do the foreign countries' dumping laws pose a problem? So for